on the channel. And good morning, everybody, and welcome to the August edition of Coffee with Cathy. My pleasure to welcome you this morning to our Facebook Live broadcast. A couple of our regular contributors are not able to be with us today, but we're going to be sharing about some of the stuff going on around the community. James Hutches, who is the president of the Chamber Board of Directors, is also a member of the Civil Air Patrol. And I don't know if you all know that. Anyway, he was called on a mission this morning, so he's going to be in the air. We wish him Godspeed and success, and we want to share with you some of what's going on with the Kaiser Chamber. I think all of you know that we had a fantastic Kaiser Fest. Also this morning, Ramiro Navarro usually joins us. He is our representative on the Chariots Board of Directors. He's done a fantastic job representing Kaiser's interests, just as Colleen Bush did for several years, representing Kaiser and Transit. Ramiro is home today with family, taking care of the kids, and we wish them all health and getting ready for school as well. But we'll share some great news that he's asked us to share about what's going on with Chariots. But I'm really happy to welcome Betty Hart from the Kaiser Fire District. Hi, Betty. How are you this morning?
Just fine, thank you, and delighted to be here.
You're muted.
Muted. Oh,
Oh,
no. It says I'm not. Oh, wait.
We've got some audio gremlins going on here.
Yeah. Mine says okay.
You want to go ahead and log off and log back in, see if we can get your audio back up, because it was working a few minutes ago.
Yeah, hold on. Okay.
And while Betty does that, I'm going to just share a couple things going on with the city of Kaiser. Actually, one that's not exactly city of Kaiser, but we're all involved. If any of you haven't heard, a collaboration between Kaiser Homegrown Theater and McNary High School Drama Department is putting on a full production of The Music Man. We open this coming Friday night, September 2nd, and we will be running both this coming weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and next weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the 9th, 10th, and 11th. Please note on the 10th and 11th, both of those programs are at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They are matinees. Because there's so much going on in the high school, you've got to make sure that you've got plenty of parking for everything. But Music Man is a lot of fun. And in case you're wondering why I'm so interested, well, you got a couple of city council members in the cast. I think most of you know Laura Reed is not only a city councilor and a high school music teacher, English teacher, she's also a director and actress. So she is in the show, along with Colleen Bush from the Kaiser Fire Board. And yours truly, I am also in the cast for the first time, singing and dancing on stage as one of the Pick Little Talk Little ladies. So come on down. It's going to be a great show, a lot of community cast members, and it's going to be The Music Man starting at this Friday at 2 o'clock, at 7 o'clock on September 2nd. Proceeds from the shows are going to local charities, so check the website at kaiserhomegrowntheater.org to see which charities will be receiving the proceeds from the different performances. I see Betty back on. Do we have audio?
I hope so. Can you hear me now? Huh? Oh.
Okay, that is still not coming through. Oh, you know what? I wonder if it's because I hit mute. Let me try something here. It might be in the feed, and I'm just not hearing it. There we go. Try again.
Okay, can you hear me now? Good. I'm glad to hear that.
So we're getting a multiple feed, so let me do that. I'm going to make sure this is coming through on Facebook on my other computer. The joys of whatever.
Technology, just as if you knew what you were doing.
Sometimes I do, and then, it just decides that I'm going to throw a monkey wrench into everything for you. Anyway, oh, it says it's still live, so we're good. Okay. So I
All
think I
right.
did it right. And if not, the worst that can happen is that we'll post it later onto the website. Thanks everybody for your patience with that, and a big plug for the Music Man. Anyway, love to share with you all what's going on in the community, and thank you, Betty, for joining me today. Just a couple of things that Betty and I are both involved with would be the Kaiser Community Library becoming Kaiser Public Library. We are both involved in the campaign. There is going to be a ballot measure for all of you who live in the city of Kaiser to authorize the city council to enact a fee of $2.50 per month that would provide the balance of the funding to convert Kaiser Community Library into Kaiser Public Library. This public funding is the only thing that our community library cannot do on its own to qualify as a public library. Everything else on the list, they have checked every box. They have worked incredibly hard to raise the quality of service for our community library to be the best it can be. And we know that when we go forward as a public library, a whole world of options and support will become available to our public library from the state library. We also will then be qualified to be able to apply, become a member of the Chemeketa Community Regional Library System, CCRLS. So that's a step 2 thing, but step 1 is to become a public library, and we need all of your support and your help. So the Kaiser City Council voted to put this onto the ballot after many volunteers, including Betty, came and showed that we are ready to bring this to you with a well thought out plan of action to take a couple dollars, $2.50 a month, and turn that into a public library that Kaiser can be proud of. Betty, do you want to talk anything about that?
Well, yes, of course. I am just delighted to be involved in that project. And I have to give a great shout out to BJ and her husband, John, who have done so much. And they both have extensive library experience. And I appreciate personally, I appreciate all the work, and our community should appreciate all the work they're doing to make this happen, because their expertise in doing the steps that need to be done to become a public library, to become a member of CCRLS, are things they know and can speak to and can make happen if they aren't. So it's great. We've had a great summer with our reading program and with Beyond Reading. I think we've had some great activities on the patio behind the library there for kids, including Caesar, the no drama llama. It was there recently, and a big hit, of course, and other activities that really engaged kids and probably their parents too in some cases. So that's really, I think, an indication of things that we can do with more funding and trying to have programs year round for our members and people in the community to come and use the library. You can get a free library card. Actually, you can apply online at kaiserlibrary.org, and or you can drop into the library when it's open and fill out an application there. So it's free, and I hope that everyone will do that, because it's many people don't go to the library. I was reminded recently of someone who said that hadn't been to a library in a very long time, and I thought, my husband was kind of a sports guy, and he didn't go to the library too often. So I know there are people like that, but it is an important place, not just because there are books there, although that's the main reason, but of all the other resources that are available too. So we have computers that people can use. We have some computers for young people to use. We have, of course, an extensive card catalog. And when we become a member of CCRLS, people will have access to all of the books throughout among all of the members of CCRLS, and they'll be delivered here to the Kaiser Library, and people can pick them up here instead of having to go to another library to do that. So I am very excited about this opportunity. It's just, I think, another step in the growth and development of Kaiser as a city, and long overdue too, I might say. Yeah.
I would agree. There were so many things that had to line up for this to become a reality. And because we've had such tremendous volunteers to create a quality library, people kept saying, well, Kaiser's a big city and you should have a library. I also have to remind people that Kaiser is the second youngest city in Oregon. So many of the libraries that are established in cities around us are way older than even our city. And when we were formed, it was before measures 5, 47, and 50. But when those measures went into place, Kaiser was still less than 10 years old, and or just a little over 10 years old. And that has really changed how we are able to do public funding. The libraries that you see in other cities were publicly funded through property tax before measures 5, 47, and 50. We can't change our tax base. And all of the taxing districts, the school district, the fire district, CCRLS, Chemeketa, all of them that you see on your property tax bill, you can't raise your rates more than 3% a year. You can have a long conversation about what works and what doesn't on that, but that's the reality. Yeah. So we've had to find other ways to collectively as a community decide this is what's important to us, and this is how we're going to pay for it. And this is how we're going to account for how those dollars are spent. And this is one of those tools we have available to us. If we want to do a public library, we can do it. And this is a cost that has been determined to provide the level of service that we will be able to sustain for the long period of time. And being sustainable, we don't want to say, hey, we can fund something today, but not tomorrow. That's not responsible. And none of us that are in public service would even remotely suggest that we do something that we can't sustain on a long-term basis, especially when it's this important. So I encourage everybody to check out the information on the Facebook page, the website, visit with the library, ask questions, find out more, and ask people to get involved.
Yes, so we have the campaign does have a website called Yes for Kaiser Public Library.org, and you can go there and volunteer or endorse or make a donation. And we really are pleased to be able to have that available to the community, and we invite everyone to get involved in this campaign and help make it all happen. So we hope that works. I guess I should put that in the chat, shouldn't I? The website. Yeah,
that'd be a good thing. And then over on Facebook, I will put that link in as well. Speaking of reading, school's going to be starting next week. No, 2 weeks, Labor Day. That's going to be up fast. The state fair has started, so everybody knows after the state fair, that's when school starts. But some schools start before Labor Day now, and we just want to make sure people are aware. Buses will start running again. Students will be walking and rolling and biking to their campuses. The campuses are all open, so we're back to people traveling. And speaking of travel, Ramiro wanted me to remind everybody that because of a partnership with the City of Salem and City of Kaiser and the school district, Chariots is able to offer free bus passes to everyone under 18. So all the students, you can ride the bus, the Chariots buses, for no charge starting on September, I believe it's 1st or 2nd. That is a hugely successful program we had years ago through Chariots, and it was wildly popular, not only with the students, but also with parents who didn't have to try to figure out how to get different kids to different activities or sports and music after school. Not a problem anymore. If you can't use the yellow school buses, the Chariots buses are available to you, all you students. All you have to do is get on. You don't need a sticker on your ID badge, nothing. This is going to be for anyone under 18 to be able to ride Chariots at no charge. I want to thank the board and the management at Chariots for recognizing it, that this is an important program to bring back. We're excited to see students be able to use this because, as we learn from our world-class McNary selves, the one activity, one club, one sport is so important for students staying engaged in school and significantly increases the graduation rates of our students. This investment in transportation links very, very closely with graduation rates being higher and sustained higher. So we're excited that that is coming to our transit system starting in September. Also starting in September will be, and let me get the message from Ramiro. And he said, could you mention Chariots will be offering free rides to youth? Just did that starting September 4th. So now I have the date. And our 80X route will be starting in September and will provide rides between Kaiser and Wilsonville with stops in Woodburn. So go to chariots.org for the times for those routes. This is a really important step in weaving together the systems and connecting between Chariots and TriMet. And there have been attempts in the past to do so. I'm excited that the two systems are looking again. How do we provide service between our different population centers so people have choices on how they can travel to and from work and other activities and services. So thank you, Ramiro, for that reminder, and we're looking forward to that service going in. They chose the Kaiser Transit Center as the jumping off point for going north for a couple of reasons. One, we're the furthest north. We also have a park and ride. So if you need to leave your car there for the day when you go up, take transit going north, you can do that. There's a really good park and ride right there at the Kaiser Transit Center. So let folks know at Chariots how that's working for you. So another thing that's going on in the city is our parks and safety. Our police have continued a program. You see it on Facebook. They pop it in there, the 9 o'clock routine. Well, I don't know if you've noticed. I have, because I was working in the yard last night and the sun went down. That probably saved me from hurting myself significantly. But the days are getting shorter again, which means getting dark. So we need to remind ourselves, get the porch lights turned on, take the stuff out of your car. Do not leave that as your rolling suitcase, because people can see it and some people feel that they can help themselves, although they shouldn't. And lock your doors. Really simple routine. We get reports of car break-ins. The vast majority are car openings. They're not break-ins. People left their doors unlocked. Now, I hear from people all the time, well, when I was a kid, I didn't have to do that. Well, I didn't grow up here. I grew up in a large city. So locking doors was something that we always had to do anyways, just preventive. And it really helps our police do their job when we aren't telling folks, hey, we're open game. So simple measures of locking your door, locking your car doors, bringing in stuff to the house, and turning on a porch light helps our police focus in on where they need to be when they get the calls for service. So 9 o'clock routine, make sure we keep doing that, especially with it getting dark earlier. And then remembering that also safety in our parks is paramount. We are looking at adding safety features. Our staff is having conversations with our Parks Board to respond to calls that we've gotten from you, members of our community, about how to make our parks safer as well. Looking at security cameras and other features that will help make our parks even more safe and inviting for people to come and enjoy with safety and security. We also want to remind people that we have one off-leash area in our parks for dogs, and that's at Kaiser Rapids. It's a big fence, off-leash dog park. Take your dog there, take off the leash, and they can have at it. Everywhere else in our park system, the dogs need to be on a leash. I know people will say, well, my dog's friendly, or my dog, I can control them. Well, I've had people with friendly dogs tell me that, but I have to remind them that in the past, I've had dogs like Dalmatians who are not. So it really helps everybody be safer to please keep those dogs on leashes when you're enjoying our city parks. So that's a couple of safety things coming up as we roll through the end of summer into fall. Betty, are we going to be doing something for 9/11 at the Kaiser Fire District?
Yes, I'm glad you asked, because we are doing something different this year, but we still are doing a remembrance. So on 9/11 at 7 o'clock, the staff will be putting the flag at half mast and having a moment of silence, and there will be a wreath to put there as well. And this year we're going to also put out 343 flags in the yard to commemorate the firefighters that were lost on 9/11. So that's kind of a new addition. It won't be as big an event as it's been in the past, but the public is welcome to come and be part of that and participate in the remembrance if they wish. So thank you for asking about that, because I did want everyone to know that. And then at this point, we're thinking in terms of a bigger event for the 25th anniversary. It's hard to believe we're creeping up on that now. In fact, I reminded myself not too long ago that, 20 years ago was in this century. It seems like it should be farther back than that, but it isn't. So anyway, but yes, so coming out if you like. I didn't confirm that they will record that and put it on the Facebook page, but I hopefully that'll happen, so people can still take a look at that if they wish later. Yeah, it'll be fun to see all the flags out there. I don't think they'll stay long, but I look forward to that.
Well, thank you for Kaiser Fire keeping the remembrance going, keeping us cognizant that freedom isn't free, and that all of us as community members have a duty as members of a free society to be vigilant, to protect, honor, and enjoy that freedom for all people.
Yeah. So I have a couple of other updates too, if now's a good time.
Absolutely. What else
All
going
right.
on?
Okay, so we are planning to do an open house again. The date is October 10th, which is a Monday, and the time will be 6 to 8 p.m. So that it's a great event, and it's a great place for kids to come. They get to participate in some fun games, pretend they're firefighters. Bigger ones, I think, get to hold a hose or something anyway, and there are usually a number of other organizations out there too to share information on safety and that for everyone. And that's one of our big events of the year. I really appreciate the staff that works on that. We also have job openings. So we're hiring a single role staff, paramedics specifically, because we have so many medical calls. And hopefully we'll be able to, that will be a little easier than the combination firefighter paramedic role that we've always done in the past. And everybody is hiring, all fire organizations are hiring staff. And I think during the pandemic, there probably was some interruption in the schooling that's provided that people can take so that there weren't as many people coming out of the academies or the community colleges and the various programs that exist around the state. So it's a challenge and we're competing, but the applications are available online at the website of kaiserfire.com. So I hope people will take a look at that. And you talked about school starting and the safety issues there. That's so important. Also, well, we got a little rain during the night. I think I actually see green spots on my lawn after just a little bit of rain. Hard, and I know, but it is still very dry out there. So I want to remind people to be careful with their fires, and so because there still is high risk of fires starting pretty easily, and we want to avoid those at all costs if we can. So anyway, watch out for the dry grass that I'm sure many of us are experiencing.
Absolutely. We got to make sure our fire pits are, even if it's dried out grass not growing, just got to keep it all tidied up. Back in
Yes.
when I was a kid, the big thing was be part of the solution, not part of the problem. So keeping our yards tidied up and anything dry, cleaned up and away from the house, we get to be part of the solution of keeping our firefighters a little bit less busy. We want to see them. Maybe we should go down there and wave at us and have them roll up to our house because something we forgot to do. Absolutely right. Yeah, there's a lot of hiring going on. The city of Kaiser is recruiting for event hosts now that our community center is open again. We hired a new event center manager. Lily Vaughn started last week. She is fabulous. She comes to us with a tremendous amount of event coordination experience. So we want to welcome her to the City of Kaiser team. And she's ready with her staff to welcome folks who would like to schedule events at our Kaiser Community Center. Go to our website or call the city if you want to book an event. But we are recruiting event hosts as part-time work. And it's to be there on site to help people with their events and make sure the facility is ready to welcome people and help their event be successful and welcoming. So that's what we have going on there. Make sure you check out job openings. Everybody's recruiting for jobs right now. My position in my state job is out there for recruitment right now. And as such, although I am retiring from my state position this coming week, I will be contracting back part-time until they get that position filled. And then I can train that individual to keep the program that I work on going forward. But I will be turning in the full-time badge for a part-time gig while we do the transition. We want to make sure that we have a good handoff rather than, hey, I'm out of here, bye. That just isn't going to work very well.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to retire, but as anybody who's been trying to retire recently has found out, it is not easy. It's a lot of work. The paperwork and on top of that, but just transition into, for the next people who are coming on board. So just want to wrap up with James Hutches. Again, could not be here today because of his volunteerism with the Civil Air Patrol. He is the president of the Chamber Board. The Chamber recently swore in their new board of directors for the 22-23 year. I want to thank everybody who has been volunteering to support our businesses, especially during these last couple of years where it has been so difficult. Changes on a very regular basis, shutdowns, openings, unemployment, etc. It's been a tough road to hoe. And because our chamber is community and people work together to help each other out, we have a lot of businesses that have been, not only survived, but thrived. Not all businesses made it through the pandemic, and it's been very difficult on a lot of business owners and families. Really want to thank the chamber for being there and doing the very best that they can to help during a very difficult time. They are really looking to soar to the next level. And strong indicator of that was the recent success of the Kaiser Fest. This was moved out to Kaiser Rapids Park. Second weekend in August, we had the parade, but out at the park was where we saw the huge difference. Instead of being constrained in a small space between businesses on Cherry Avenue, and we want to thank that community for welcoming the Kaiser Fest for several years. Out at Kaiser Rapids Park, there was room. People had elbow space. And we had 51 vendors. There was bands playing. We had McNary, the CPT program performers were just amazing. We had, of course, Crown the Hound and other events, a cornhole tournament, which was very popular, and rides from, I think it was Funtastic, who was the carnival. But there was space, plenty of parking. People could walk, roll, bike down there, as well as drive. I saw large numbers of people down there. The food vendors did very well. And overall, a lot of good feedback. What I heard from people, nobody said we shouldn't do this again. What I heard from everybody was, so next year, why don't we ... That was really good indicator that people saw the potential and ideas for continuing to improve it. Very, very welcome. And folks who want to fill in that ... so next year we can, please send your ideas to the Kaiser Chamber, and they will put all that together for their debrief and for their plans for 2023. The Kaiser Fest is a great community event, but it's not just for a party, although Betty, you and I both know Kaiser does not turn down a great party, but it's
Yes.
a party with a purpose.
Mhm.
It's a purpose to celebrate Kaiser, celebrate community, and to celebrate the business community, which is so foundational to the city being a successful, well-integrated and strong community and regional partner in the Mid-Willamette Valley. Over the years, since Kaiser days, before even Kaiser was a city, to what we have now, it's been a time of building community. And so we want to continue to support that going forward as Kaiser Fest evolves and grows. So we are able to welcome even more people to come and enjoy what Kaiser has to offer. Well, I think we've wrapped up a lot of the topics today. Betty, is there anything else we want to make sure folks know is going on in Kaiser?
Well, it's hard for me to think of anything other than the library right now because it's so important. But between that and the upcoming 9/11 remembrance, I think it's amazing that that's going to be here, in a week from Friday.
Yeah.
Already it'll be practically the middle of September. Yes. And so I think it's things are going well, and I appreciate all the hard work that everybody does every day in our community. Volunteers are very important, and you're right. The volunteers are the ones who have really made the library what it is. And however, it's difficult to sustain an organization on volunteers only. So we're really, I think we're more than ready to go to the next step. And I appreciate the city council stepping up and helping with that by putting a measure on the ballot. And we're working really hard to try to make that successful. So yes, thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Betty. I want to thank Betty for joining me today on this month's Coffee with Cathy for August 2022. All the best and safe travels to James Hutches from the Kaiser Chamber of Commerce. And also thank you to Ramiro Navarro, who usually joins us from the Cherry's Board of Directors, and also to Pastor Jose Dominguez, who is very, very busy with not only his involvement in the community, supporting our friends and neighbors throughout Kaiser. And we also look forward to visiting with him next month. Thank you all for joining us on this month's Coffee with Cathy. Have a great, safe, and happy Labor Day weekend. Enjoy the state fair, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much.